In October 2013, at the Stadium of Light in Sunderland, a Manchester United star was born. Or so everybody thought. Not so long ago, Adnan Januzaj was one of United's latest talented prospects to burst onto the scene. Having been handed his full Premier League debut by David Moyes, the then 18-year-old scored twice for the Red Devils as they came from behind to secure a much-needed victory for their beleaguered manager. Nevertheless, a promising career gradually faded until he disappeared from the front pages of the football world. While immensely talented, Adnan has not reached all the glory that was envisioned for him. What happened to him, and where is Adnan Januzaj now? Let's find out right now. Januzaj started his football career in 2005 as a 10-year-old playing in the youth teams of FC Brussels, but soon transferred to Anderlecht in the same year. Even at a young age, he was already showing footballing abilities beyond his age. Of course, you would expect people to compare him with great players like Cristiano Ronaldo, in terms of him having similar talent that could propel him to the top in future. It was in 2011 that the then 16-year-old impressed scouts from Manchester United during a skills and scouting session at Brussels. From there, the rise was fairly apparent as soon as he switched to the Red Devils in 2011. Januzaj was signed as a 16-year-old from Anderlecht back in 2011, before being promoted to sit Sir Alex Ferguson's first-team squad the following year. Adnan's initial time at the club was spent training at the Carrington training base, where everyone in the club believed he had the talent to go all the way. Many at the club were placing him in the same bracket as Ryan Giggs and Wayne Rooney. It was only in May 2013 that Sir Alex included Januzaj in the matchday squad for the Scottish manager's final game against West Brom. His competitive debut did not come until David Moyes was manager in the 2013-14 season, but he struggled to nail down a regular starting place. He was even given the number 11 shirt, available after Giggs retired. Such was their view of his talents, but United were never able to get the best out of him. It was also at this time that a scramble for the player's international representation began. This was due to his complicated ancestry, where he was able to play for 6 different countries. Eventually, Januzaj opted to pledge his future to Belgium. Adnan hit the stride on his debut appearance for the Red Devils against Sunderland. He scored a brace to help the club register a much-needed come-from-behind victory. This dream start just emboldened the vision of Sir Alex to bring this protege to the club. David Moyes, who took over as manager, heaped huge praises on the teenager, insisting that he is a special talent and should remain with the club rather than spend the campaign out on loan. And so, before his contract expired, the club signed him up on a new 5-year contract. The 2014-15 season began impressively for the winger as he was handed the number 11 jersey, previously worn by Ryan Giggs, who had retired. Following this was an uneventful season, in which he did not score any goal and failed to live up to expectations. When Manchester United hired Louis van Gaal, Januzaj failed to impress his new manager with subpar performances. In the end, he lost the trust of Van Gaal, who opted for more experienced players in his team. With his 2 most trusted managers not around anymore, Januzaj started believing that he had no real chance of getting into the United team anymore. He hinted that perhaps it was time to leave the club, since the current manager does not have faith in him at all. He made an impressive 35 senior appearances in that first season, but the 5-year contract had been quoted by many as being one of the reasons Januzaj failed to fulfill his potential. Although a permanent move away did not materialize, he still went on several loan spells away from the club. A loan in 2015 to Dortmund was deemed a failure as he couldn't break into the Dortmund team. Subsequently, he went on a season-long loan to Sunderland, reuniting with his previous manager Moyes. After a successful stint with Sunderland, he hoped that the new Manchester United manager, Jose Mourinho, would help revive his career. But in the end, he felt Jose never gave him a fair chance. Probably the greatest undoing of his career came with the public perception of his national loyalties, though he eventually picked Belgium where he was born and started his career. He did not shy away from delaying the process due to his Kosovoan Albanian ancestry. On his part, Januzaj had refused a call-up to the Belgian team even after repeated requests, as he said he intended to play for Albania. Finally, before the 2014 World Cup, he finally relented and chose Belgium if they included him in the final squad. His on and off field attitude has also played a factor into his downfall. During the 2013-14 season, Adnan developed a reputation for diving, repeated bookings for simulations, and his lack of intent with physical defenders led to suspicions over his commitment. When asked about his poor performances, he would often reply with unfair treatment at the hands of managers. This is where the words of Michael Laudrup, the then manager of Swansea City, against whom Adnan had an eye-catching display, said that he hoped Januzaj keep his head down and work hard, instead of thinking that 10 games at the highest professional level means he is now a top player. Januzaj's failure to hold down a place in the United team meant he was deemed surplus to the club once his 5-year contract was expiring. When his contract ended, he signed a 5-year deal with Real Sociedad in July 2017, where he has remained ever since. Scoring 16 goals and 16 assists in 109 appearances for the club until now, the winger has played a vital role in the La Liga. This has also earned him a recall to the national side, but Adnan Januzaj remains a shadow of the player he could have been. As Adnan is quoted as a player who gets along with teams, players, managers, and coaches, it is hard to believe that a player of his caliber could lose his way. He is still in touch with his former managers, Sir Alex Ferguson and David Moyes. Regrets still remain in the club as to what the child prodigy could have achieved for both the club and himself. At only 26 years old, everything is not lost for Adnan Januzaj, and he has built up a steady career over the years after the initial years of turmoil. And also, the self-belief about himself as a player is at the moment in highest peak. This also leaves a chance that the winger might be back at a top club, and probably this time go on and fulfill the potential that many saw before. Let us know in the comments section below what you think about Adnan Januzaj's career. Did he underachieve or not? We'd love to read your thoughts on this one. To enjoy more football videos, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click on one of these 2 videos.